Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you to Warrior Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. And I want to touch on that real quick before I get further into it, because some people, they come by and they ask questions. And when I say use your own discretion, I mean it. I'm going to provide you with the information. It's up to you to verify whether it's true or false or whether you can use it or not. However, ultimately, the decision that you have to make in regards to your credit score and credit cards comes down to you and your decision making. I can provide you with all the information possible, but it's up to you to make the decision on whether or not you want to go through with it. So I just wanted to touch on that. But the second rule is for you to always verify whatever it is you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule of life. So getting into the video, this video is going to be about some bad news, and it's going to be pertaining to bad news for retail credit card holders. And before I get further into it, I want to talk to you all about that because I'm not a fan of retail credit cards. I have a lot of reasons why. I remember back in like 08, 09, I applied for a retail credit card and I was denied. No, that's not the reason why I'm not a fan of retail credit cards. But this news article is going to kind of help reveal why I'm not a big fan of retail credit cards. And actually, I'm not a fan at all. Now, some of you might wonder, like, if you're not a fan of retail credit cards, why did you apply for one back in 2008, 2009 during that time? Well, I applied because I was trying to get my credit established, but that's a whole nother topic that I touched on previously in other videos. So we're going to get right into this article, and the article is by CNBC, and the article reads, dozens of retailers jacked up interest rates on store cards ahead of Fed cut. This is by Gabrielle Funroe of CNBC, and the article was published November 22nd, 2004, which was Friday. The article further reads, these are the key points, by the way. So the key points for CNBC are at the top of the article, but it further reads, at least 50 of the largest U.S. retailers boosted interest rates on their store credit cards in the months before the Federal Reserve began cutting rates in moves that protected their profit margins. Big Lots, Gap, Petco, Macy's, and Nordstrom are among those that increased the APRs on their store cards between September 23rd and September 24th. It says, quote unquote, if you get offered one of these this holiday season, really take a breath. I would just say no if you're going to carry a balance, said bank rate analyst Ted Roseman. So those are the key points to the article. We're going to go further into the article. Now, the way how it works here on this Warrior Soil channel, I'm not going to read the full article, but I always post a link to the article in the description box so you all can check it out yourself. So you all will be able to read the article and check it out yourself. But as you can see, they did it to protect their profit margins. And I always tell people, you know, these stores, they're a corporation. They have a business to run. They have profit margins. They have profit that lets them know how well their business is doing, as well as a lot of their stockholders and people who buy into their company. So everything comes down to the dollar. And as you saw, they raised their interest rates before the Fed cut. Now I'm going to get further into why this is dangerous for the consumers and the retail credit card holders. But I should have titled this video as a warning, not just as bad news, because this should serve as a major warning, especially with holiday season right around the corner. Actually, Black Friday is coming up. So let's get further into the article. It further reads, dozens of the largest U.S. retailers and their bank partners jacked up interest rates on their store branded cards to record highs in the months before the Federal Reserve began cutting rates, as the companies looked to pad profits during a stretch of sluggish sales. At least 50 companies, including Big Lots, Gap, Petco, Burlington, Macy's, and TJX companies, increased the APRs on their credit cards between September 2023 and September 2024, according to a review of data gathered by Bankrate.com that examined the nation's 100 largest retailers. Bankrupt home goods chain Big Lots raised its APR by 6 percentage points from 29.99% to 35.99%, the largest increase of the retailers reviewed by Bankrate. Gap made the second largest increase, a 5 percentage point hike on its Banana Republic, Athleta, Old Navy, and Namesake cards. Petco came in third with 4.5 percentage point increase. As you see, they've been hiking it up, whether it's Petco or Banana Republic. It's kind of funny because that card that I was rejected for back in 2008, that was actually a Banana Republic card. It was either Banana Republic or Express, but I believe it was Banana Republic. So it's kind of interesting how fast forward and they're raising APRs. Now, of course, the APR back then, I'm sure, was totally different than what it is right now. But having these APRs as high as they do for retail cards, you all should be careful. You all should be very careful, and it's a big reason why I'm not a fan of retail credit cards. Now, what I'm about to show on the screen is the APRs for retail credit cards. And when you look at these APRs, some of them in the mid-30s and a lot of them in the upper 20s, you'll understand why I'm not a fan of retail credit cards and why it's important for a lot of you to consider staying away from retail credit cards. Because if you are someone that carries a balance, retail credit cards can do damage. So just look at the screen right now and you'll see on the screen these APRs. And these APRs are wild. Imagine being someone who's carrying over thousands of dollars in balances and you're dealing with an APR that high. Just imagine how much debt you could put yourself into. And that explains why retail credit cards are so dangerous. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's very important for you all to understand what you're dealing with when dealing with retail credit cards. Am I telling people to stay away from them? No, not if they're responsible. Not if they're someone who pays off whatever it is they spend. But if you're someone who carries balances, it may be a good idea to stay away from retail credit cards. Even though you like to go and you like to shop at a specific store, you may want to consider not touching that card because these APRs are ridiculous. They also provided a list of the U.S. retail credit cards with the highest APRs. And as you can see from the list, there are some familiar stores on that list. And those APRs are ridiculous. But I'm happy they came out with this article because it provides you all with at least the knowledge to know which retailers are having these high APRs. So look at the screen and you'll see which retailers it is. All right, so getting further into the article, it states Big Lots, Academy Sports, Burlington, Michaels, and Petco are tied for having the highest APR among the companies bank rate tracked at a staggering 35.99% as of September. Up until this rate hiking cycle that we saw from the Fed in 2022 and 2023, 30% was a threshold that few credit cards dared to cross. Ted Roseman, Bankrate Senior Industry Analyst, told CNBC. But they've gone from high to higher these past few years because the Fed pushed rates higher by 5.25 points, and all of a sudden 29.99% was not the high end anymore. Now we see it's very common for these store cards to charge over 30%. However, it's not just the monetary policy pushing APRs higher. Just before the Fed began its rate cutting cycle in September, many retailers and their bank partners raised interest on their store cards to protect their profits when the federal funds rate, which determines their own interest rates, came down. Now the average interest rate on a store card is at an all-time high just ahead of the holiday shopping season, which is when most consumers sign up for store cards. As credit card debt reaches new highs and delinquencies hit levels not seen since 2011, Roseman warned consumers to think twice before signing up. Now you read along with me how serious things are. 35.99%. That's a credit card interest rate right now in 2024. Not only does that sound ridiculous, it's also dangerous. And I wouldn't be surprised if things get to the point where they are at 40%. And if we're talking 40% for a store credit card APR, just imagine how it is for someone who loves to go shopping with a card at that store. Imagine for someone that they gave a credit limit of $10,000 or something like that. And this is the type of person who's not savvy with credit cards. They don't have a lot of knowledge about managing a credit card, because we can all admit there are a lot of people like that out there. I know some people who are like that. And let's say they go and they purchase $8,000 worth of things. It's holiday season coming up. Holiday season is coming up this upcoming week. And Black Friday is this upcoming week. Cyber Monday is right after that, and holiday shopping is going to be between now and Christmas. And you know people are going to have their fingers itching to go out and purchase things, because that's what we do in America when it comes to holidays and purchasing gifts for Christmas and things like that. So just imagine someone with an $8,000 retail credit card balance, and they're carrying over balance, and they continue to have 35.99% APR on that card. Now, it's not all cards, it's not all retail credit cards, but it is the retail credit cards that they listed. And I'm be honest with you, if you read the article, they show a list of the companies that didn't increase their interest rates, but they're just aside. Their interest rates are in the upper 20s. So 30%, let's say that's the average. That's still a lot for someone with a $5,000, $8,000 balance. Let's say someone with a $3,000 or a $4,000 balance that they're carrying over. It's high for them as well. So there's no wonder why people are in credit card debt. When you carry over balances, it becomes dangerous. Now, I know some people are a fan of it. They say, hey, I'm doing the best I can, and that's cool. However, if you're someone that's trying to stay out of credit card debt because you want to invest, or you want to start a business, or just use your money to do leisure things, whatever it may be, as the article stated, it's probably a good idea for you to not consider getting a retail credit card. And you know what the sad and unfortunate thing is, which is why I labeled this as bad news? There are going to be a lot of people this upcoming week who go to these stores and sign up for these store cards because they're going to be running promotions, and they are not even going to be aware nor care that the interest rates are 35.99% or even close to 30%. They're not going to care. They're just going to care about getting a credit card so they could go and make purchases because they don't have the funds to purchase it with cash. And this is when we get into a dangerous part about credit card debt and why credit card debt is at $1.17 trillion right now. And like I said, I expect it to reach 1.20% because things like this just continue to happen, and I don't expect them to stop. But I just wanted to make this video to share this information with you all. This channel, Water Your Soil, is about sharing information. You don't have to like me. You don't have to be a fan of this channel. You don't have to be a fan of me, the way I talk, the way I present, my videos, my structure, whatever it may be, my thumbnails. You don't have to be a fan. However, I'm here to pass along knowledge. That's what I care about. I care about educating people. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I share these news articles. But anyways, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications, that way you don't miss a future video, because I do post often. That's clicking on that bell and then selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you watching right now, my subscribers included. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes a second. Hit the like button. That's your way of letting the algorithm know you support this video and this channel. I appreciate every single one of you for stopping by and watching. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.